Spark the brain. 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 We here. Spark the brain. Spark the brain. Spark the brain. It's the third round RPB. I don't know if they ready for this one, man. You gotta switch it up on them a little bit. You know what I'm talking about? Have a seat at the master's table. We ain't asked for no seat. We went and built up our own. You see, it's rather stable. You got 2 eyes, 2 ears. You know the rest. Look, listen, and observe, but also respect. In God we trust. It's obvious. The money ain't the root of all evil, but lack thereof. That's why they deprive you of resources. Why they focus on streams of income, at least 3 sources. We certified, we solidified. And they say they created hip-hop, but all that shit is lies. Cause every element came before the development of what we calling hip-hop now. It's all relevant to all the topics we gon' touch on. Spoiler alert, as we play this album, ain't no club songs. Boy, that hurt, but this ain't no conscious album. It's just that real shit, that Black God mantra album. I hope y'all feel this. Spark the brain, 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 spark the brain. Spark the brain, spark the brain, spark the brain. Spark the brain, spark the brain, spark the brain. Spark the brain, spark the brain, spark the brain. Spark the brain, spark the brain, spark the brain. Spark the brain, spark the brain, spark the brain. My mind is spark the brain, spark the brain.
The masters, the masters, the masters, the masters.
Peace. This is the Black Dot, father, author, writer, poet, MC, one half of the dynamic duo, the #1 father and son podcast, Urban X TV. I am super excited about the new release, The Master's Table, by Sincere Love the God and RP Beats. This album is going to be crazy. It's the follow-up to The Spear and The Shield. Already know what time it is. It's got some dope pieces on it. You're going to love it. Also on the album is yours truly, The Black Dot. So you want to go to the Masters RSVP and secure your copy now. They got a bundle package. You get a backdrop, you get a poster, you get the digital download, you get the physical copy, you get a hoodie. The whole process is really crazy. So RSVP to Masters RSVP, and you can get that dope album, My Sincere Love to God and RP Beats, The Master's Table. You will never be disappointed at how dope this project is going to be. Peace.
Have a seat at the master's table. We ain't asked for no seat. We went and built up our own. You see, it's rather stable. You got 2 eyes, 2 ears. You know the rest. Look, listen, and observe, but also respect. In God we trust. It's obvious. The money ain't the root of all evil, but lack thereof. That's why they deprive you of resources. Why they focus on streams of income, at least 3 sources. We certified, we solidified. And they say they created hip-hop, but all that shit is lies. Cause every element came before the development of what we calling hip-hop now. It's all relevant to all the topics we gon' touch on. Spoiler alert, as we play this album, ain't no club songs. Boy, that hurt, but this ain't no conscious album. It's just that real shit, that Black God mantra album. I hope y'all feel this. Do for self or suffer the consequences. The wisdom of Elijah's inside of the conscientious, so I move.
All right. We are here. Peace, family. What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Sincere Love the Godcast. This is a special edition of the Black Business Showcase. I am the God Sincere Love, here with my lovely co-host, Nicey Girl. We in the digital building. What's going on, everybody?
What's good, everyone? Where's the chat? Is the chat lit yet?
Is what lit?
I said, is the chat lit yet?
Oh, you can't see it?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it sounded, for some reason, it just got like a little fuzzy.
I'll go into it.
It got a little fuzzy on your end. Oh, it's your earpiece, probably. Yeah. And it seems like it might be a little delayed, too.
Yeah, I'll probably knock it off. Okay, I'm gonna get off that then.
Yeah, because we was good just a minute ago. But yeah, we here. So can you see the chat or no?
I can see it. Yep.
Okay, yeah,
Peace,
yeah,
Nikki
yeah.
to God.
Yeah. They coming up in here slowly but surely. We haven't been on time on Sundays for the last couple of weeks. So
Right.
they expecting us to be late. But as y'all coming in here, family, make sure that y'all hit the like button. Make sure that you share this out on your social media platforms. Let everybody know that we are live right now with a special edition of the Black Business Showcase. We're going to be chopping it up with a good brother who is a franchise owner of a multi-million-dollar Chick-fil-A out in Los Angeles, amongst many other things. We're going to get all up in his black business in just a minute. So make sure y'all share this out. Let everybody know that we live. It's going to be a good one today. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, if you're watching us on Facebook or if you might be watching us on Twitter, make sure you head on over to the YouTube channel, click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be reminded whenever we go live with new episodes. You know, we usually do Sincere Love the Godcast at this time on Sundays where we cover current events and talk about other issues that we feel are important to Black society. And normally you can catch the Black Business Showcase on Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. But we switch things up for some of the guests if we need to accommodate some schedules or whatever the case may be. Sometimes we might move things around just to make it happen. And so that is the case for today. And also, this Thursday, they've been waiting. What we got going on this Thursday?
Got the Pick Me Godcast back. Myself and our sister Brown Skin Baddie will be back this Thursday. So make sure you are following Brown Skin Baddie as well as myself. And we will be letting you guys know the upcoming topic this week as well as the time. So make sure that you're following myself, Nicey Girl with the number 1 on Instagram and Nicey Girl without the number 1 on Twitter. And again, myself and our sister Brown Skin Baddie will be back this Thursday. Pick Me Godcast.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Time to set it off officially now. Officially. Yep. All right. So before we get started, how's your fast going so far?
You know what? I'm so surprised in myself. So let me just say, I started at midnight, technically, right? I came downstairs and I had like a half of an apple around 11:19. I was like, I want something. So far I've had a cup of coffee, 1 cup of coffee this morning around 9 o'clock. And I'm just on my water with lemon. That's it. And again, like I'm hungry, obviously, but not how I thought I was. You know, I thought I'll be all shaking right now and like mentally going crazy. And I'm surprising myself. So far, so good. Like I'm not thinking about it, you know, and I've been at home by myself all day. You know, and I'm just not thinking about it. What I will say though, every time I go onto social media, there's a food page. All of a sudden, you know, come up, but it's not fazing me.
The devil is a liar.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen later on tonight, y'all. How my body's gonna feel, but right now I feel great. I went and worked out last night. Around 8 o'clock, went to the gym. I was like, I'm dedicated. I'm gonna do this. And first thing I did this morning, not get on social media and all that stuff. First thing I did is jump right into prayer because I want to do this right. So yeah,
that's what's up. That's what's up. You're gonna be all right. We're gonna get through this together. For those of y'all that don't know, me and my sister, we on a 3-day fast starting today. I'm juicing. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing just water and cold pressed juice. I got my green juice on deck. And so I think the last day I'm going to do just water alone. But for the first 2 days, I'm going to be doing my juices. And that's it. But no food, you know, no hard foods and nothing like that for the next 3 days. And so we're going to be all right. We're going to get through it. It's mind over matter.
It is. And I'm just in the gym. I think the gym is helping me. You know, I'm surprisingly liking the gym, which is weird for me. Like I don't usually like it, but yeah, I'm going and
once you get into it, you start appreciating it. It starts feeling good. Like, why I ain't been doing this? Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
I dedicated to 3 days a week, and I actually did 4 this week. So I gave myself a bonus point, you know, for adding the 4th day. And I actually wanted to go. It was like, you know what? Let's go to the gym, you know? So I did that last night and I felt good. And yeah, I'm surprisingly not hungry. And I also juiced too. I haven't started drinking my juice yet, but I did make some so I can kind of maybe switch it up a little bit. You know, this is my first time doing a fast where I'm only doing the liquids with no foods. I would usually fast sun up to sundown. So this is my first time ever fasting with nothing but liquids. So
you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. We got this. We got this. And so, ready to get started?
I'm ready. Let's go. I'm excited about this guest. You know, I've been excited about this guest. I wrote down some questions. Like, I'm ready.
Good. All right, we're gonna get to start. Let me let y'all know who we got coming to the set today on Sincere Love the GodCast. So we bringing our brother Craig Stokes. He graduated from North Carolina A&T State University with a degree in architectural engineering and the University of North Carolina at Greensboro with an MBA. He is currently the owner-operator of a Chick-fil-A franchise in Los Angeles, California, where he leads a multi-million-dollar franchise with his team of 80-plus team members alongside his wife, Dree. Prior to opening his restaurant in January of 2020, Craig Stokes was the creator and host of 2 web series. Style Minute, got 70-plus episodes of it on there, over 2 million views. Craig Stokes Presents, the show, interviews with celebs and other influential people, and London in America, a kid-friendly show hosted by his daughter, London. He recently produced and starred in the independent film Whirlpool and has been seen in national TV commercials, hosting red carpets and entertainment news segments and more. He was selected as one of the 7 HBCU alumni to watch by Huffington Post, where he was compared to fellow HBCU alumni Oprah Winfrey. Craig has spoken to over 100,000 youth, college students, faculty, and parents across the country and was selected by UNCF for their National Empower Me Tour alongside celebrities Tatiana Ali from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Malik Yoba, New York Undercover, Why Did I Get Married in Empire, and Kim Coles from Living Single, amongst many others. Craig Stokes is originally from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and enjoys life with his wife, daughter, London, and son, Camden. He is a 17-year officer in the Air Force Reserves and SPR 03 initiate of the Beta Epsilon Chapter Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, Inc. And with all that being said, without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our guest for today, our brother Craig Stokes. Welcome to the GodCast, brother. How you doing?
What's up, y'all? How you doing?
Good.
Let me start off by saying that I really want some green juice right now. I feel like all I have is this sparkling water, but water nonetheless. But thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here with y'all.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you taking the time for real. We know you're busy with all that I just read.
Yeah, I don't even recognize that guy. I mean, it's interesting to hear all of that. We just typically put one foot in front of the other and live life day by day, and then sometimes if we stop and listen and look back and say, oh, we kind of did a few things, but
Right.
But again, thanks for having me, and hopefully we can leave some gems behind for your amazing audience.
Yes, indeed, man. That is the goal, not just for the audience, but for us as well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I've been checking out some of your stuff, doing some research on you a little bit, and I'm like, man, this guy's had a lot of success, has been on some major platforms, you know what I'm saying, in media and all of that. So to take the time to be with us, we're just getting started, building our platform up. That tells me something about you without even having the conversation with you. And so, yeah, thank you for being with us, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Absolutely.
So take us back, man. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
He looks too young to have accomplished all this. I'm like,
I'll take that.
How old is he? 28?
Right.
Ooh, I wish I was 28, man. So let's go back, right? So my mother was super influential in me being me. And that ultimately, not just the birthing process, right? That's like obvious, right? But the idea of, Craig, do not put all your eggs in one basket, And my dad would echo that by saying, if you see something that you want, go get it. So those two things drove me to say, what do you want? Go get it. And 2, that might not be the only thing that you want to do. So don't put yourself in a box. You can do and be whatever it is that you're called and led to do. And only you can limit what you accomplish. So those two things really kind of just set the platform and the foundation for who I am now.
Right. Cool. So were your parents entrepreneurs, working class? Like, what kind of parents did you have?
Yeah, I would say all of the above, right? So mom and dad, we started life in Florida and then moved to Fayetteville because my dad was in the Army. So, working class soldier serving the country while my mother was a social worker. And so I spent a lot of time with her clients and her those who she was serving, and got a chance to never lose sight of what that looked like, what that felt like, and where those individuals were coming from. Because there was plenty of time in my life where my mom would bring bags of clothes home from social services, and my brother and I would dig through those bags of clothes, and that was our idea of shopping. Like, oh, I got some jeans, I got some dudes, look at this shirt, and so that's why that informs how I move today, because I'm never that far removed from sleeping on a mattress and the heat was turned off for a little while, or getting really excited about these brand new shoes and I'm wearing them to school and I'm like, yo, look at my new shoes, and they're like, man, them things from Pick and Pay, they're from Payless, that's from Walmart. And I'm like, but they're leather, they're all leather, like, man, I don't care about no leather shoes if they're not Nike. And just holding my own through times when I just didn't have it. We just didn't have it, but we had each other, and we had love, and we had the very foundation of community, just getting along with people no matter what walk of life they were coming from. And so my mother moved from social work into being a teacher. My dad moved in from the Army to being a lawyer. And so that same kind of concept of how do I be of service to the community, whether it's as a teacher, as a social worker, in the military, or as a lawyer, was just more and more of what developed me to be me. Whether it was having to be super formal when I wanted to ask for my license, which I literally, just a quick story, I put on a suit, typed up a proposal why I should be allowed to have my license, had an easel, had a couple copies of my proposal, and asked my parents to sit down. I came downstairs and I gave them each a copy. And I said, all right, I'm Craig Stokes, and I'd like to propose why I should be allowed to get my license. I hold down a steady job at KFC. I'm making $4.75 an hour. I work 16 hours a week, which would be enough to cover my insurance, blah, 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 blah. So, I got a lot of experience from a lot of different ways, a lot of different angles. I think from the entrepreneurial side, that was my mother mainly. Okay. At age 13, we started a children's birthday party business, called Panda Parties. And so my stepfather was a panda bear. So if you ever wanted to hire us, you would get this big panda bear, you would get a Bible, you would get a cake, we would bring punch, we do games and things like that. And then after a while, my mom said, we need to add another character. The Power Ranger is a really big deal right now. So we need Craig at age 13. I'm not a big guy now, so you can only imagine what Craig looked like in red spandex, right? At age 13, right. But I drew the ad that was in our phone book for the Power Ranger. We would get paid $100 an hour for the party. I would do kicks and punches with the kids and practice my superhero pose, and I would really just make it a great experience. And it was really at that age where I realized I'm a kid myself, but I need to put myself aside and figure out how I can give this guest, this client, this kid, a once in a lifetime experience that they will never forget. And so that I did that from age 13 to 16. And that kind of, again, was just the foundation for not putting all my eggs in one basket, loving on people, being an entrepreneur, and taking myself out of the picture and just focusing on who it is that I'm serving.
That's pretty dope, man. Did you realize at the time, or were you picking up on the business lessons while you were doing that? Or was it just kind of something that was like fun for you to do with the family and entertaining the kids? And then you look back on it and realize the business lessons. How did that go for you?
100% hindsight, looking back on it and realizing it. Because before that, I was the guy that, oh, shoot, we have a lawnmower. Miss So-and-so's grass is growing up pretty tall. Let me go across the street and let me see what kind of money I can make. I'm the guy that would go down to the gas station before the bus would come in the morning to pick us up, grab a pack of Now-a-Laters, break them apart, throw them in a bag and sell them individually. So now I get an extra juice or extra piece of bread at lunch or whatever I wanted to get extra myself. I was the guy that recognized that, times were a little tough. And so going to get my haircut, it might be easier if I just learned how to cut my own hair. So my first pair of clippers came from Walmart. Not the best, not great at all.
Not at all.
It's called
I'm a barber, by the way.
Right, exactly. Let's call them trash. Okay. But I started cutting hair at age 13. 13 was like a pivotal year, and it later in life that number would circle back and has since become my favorite number. But anyway, learning to cut hair, and I would start charging people to cut hair and cut grass and and we were doing the Power Ranger thing, and I was delivering newspapers, and so looking back on it, I'm like, man, I just had a natural interest in it and a natural inclination towards business and people, because you can't have a business without people. And so I think if anything, it was, how do I talk to people? How do I treat people? How do people see me? And how do I make people feel when I'm around them? And I think adding my business skills with that just allowed it to be successful. But being skillful in business without the relationship part it just doesn't work.
They have to go hand in hand.
Absolutely. You can have the greatest idea in the world, and as soon as you open your mouth, if you can't communicate, if you can't relate, if you can't look at the people and realize what they need, because it might be great for me, but if it's not great for the people I'm trying to make it for, I don't have a business at all. Right. If I'm not really solving a problem, I don't have a business. And so I think, again, to your question more succinctly, looking back on it, I was just meant to do it. I was really just meant to do it. Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Yep, and I could relate. I could definitely relate, and even like just listening to you explain that, I'm coming to certain realizations myself. I'm thinking about that time around my life when I was 13. I was doing some of the same things, and I'm like, oh wow, and look at me now. I'm, self-employed, entrepreneur, and all of that. I never even put that together. You know what I'm saying?
I think the clues are always there, and what I realized, just as something that I know to be true about life, is that we are all meant to do something different. And because if we were all meant to do the same thing at the same levels, then there would be nobody singing in church. Everybody would just be Beyonce, right? If you see, you know what I mean? Like, it would be nobody that's teaching in college, and then the people that are teaching are kindergarten children, kindergarten age children. It wouldn't be people cutting grass in the neighborhood, or people having a lawn care business, right? Everybody would be the CEO and nobody would be the employee. It's like everybody has to play their role, and whatever it is that we're naturally drawn to, don't fight it. Just figure out like what that means and what that looks like, and at what level you should be at. Because there's no knock. You have to be, there has to be somebody on the cruise ship that's singing their heart out because I need some entertainment, but I also want to go see Usher in concert, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, there's just levels, and it really is what makes the world go around. So as quickly as we can identify, I really like this, I don't necessarily know why, but I should probably explore it. Yeah. And then be okay at whatever level we fall at. I think it'll help take some stress off, because I think a lot of us, we either try to do something because it's successful for somebody else, and that's not what our gift is. That's not what our purpose is. And I think also we try to aspire to be at a certain level, and we consider ourselves a failure if we're not at whatever level, you know what I mean? Because there's still a need and there's still a value for wherever we are in this world. So that's one thing I do know to be true.
Great. All right. So I kind of want to walk up through your story up to where we at now, but I got to ask this, since you just, listening to what you just said. Yeah. How do you feel what you do today ties into your God-given purpose?
Well, what I realize is that I can't take money with me, so I'm not driven by money. I realized that what's most important to me, two things, is that when I'm on my deathbed and I'm about to take my last breath, that I lived a life that was true to who I am. Like, I really feel like I've been my authentic self. And two, I spent time with my family, and I made sure that they were good. And so I think that with the team members that I have, we have about 80 employees. They come from all walks of life. And they have worked other jobs before, and they might have just been a number. They might have just been a name. They might have just been a position on the board. And what I know that my wife and I do really well is we see them beyond that. I don't care what your title is. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care where you come from. I care about you. And I realized that if the building burns down, if all those four walls go away, the only thing that's left is our relationships. And I really tried my best to cultivate that. I realized that so the name of my LLC is called Feed the Dream. So kind of double entendre in the sense that it's a restaurant, but I realized I want to feed the dream of the person, because I realized that Chick-fil-A and working for me and working for us and working alongside of me is only a chapter in your book. I pray to God that that's not your last stop, right? I want you to go on and become whoever you were created to be. And so I just want to feed you and nourish you while you're here with me. And I want you to look back on your time with me and smile and say, I made the best choice ever by being associated with Craig and his organization, because he saw me for me. He gave me what he needed to give me, tough love, but he also acknowledged me when I did well. And so I just think that everything that I've done, from public speaking and traveling around and doing all of those things, acting and interacting with people, failing and succeeding, creating and being really a great problem solver, I'm able to kind of distill all of that down into one building and one location. But I know I'm pouring into many, many hearts who will then go out and reciprocate that. And so who knows, 20, 30 years from now, what kind of reach I'll have by pouring into the team members I have today.
It sounds like you put impact over income.
100%.
Like my brother Ben X says, if you chase the impact, the income will come. You know what I'm saying?
It will come. It will come.
Right.
It'll continue, and it'll come in a way that may not be how you expect it, because there's social currency. There's currency that comes that you really can't put your hands on. But that very moment I need something or I need someone, it might not be because I need money. It might just mean I need a shoulder to lean on, because I'm still a person, right? Like, I'm still going to have my challenges and things that I'm just not going to be strong in. And I might just need somebody else to lean on. And they say, man, you know how much you gave me? Like, I've been waiting for an opportunity to have your back. You know what I mean? And so I think that's what I know to be true as well. And you talked about income over impact. Just one thing, just to hopefully not to jump ahead, but we opened up the restaurant under sales projections. Had too many team members. I had 120 people on the payroll, and sales were much lower than we expected them to be. No fault of our own. It was January, and who knew that
It was 2020 also.
It was 2020. Let's be clear, right? Let's be clear. But I had to quickly. So labor should be around 21, 22% of sales. So for every dollar that we make, we want to kind of only spend about 20 to 22 cents towards labor. That first few days, we were at 46%. And then you have food. Then you have utilities. You have uniforms. You have everything else you could think of, landscaping, anything else. Essentially, we're in the hole. And my team came to me and said, hey, Craig, what do you want to do, man? What do you want to do? It's like, well, look, I promised these team members during the interview process that this will be a home away from home, that we were going to bring that Southern hospitality to Southern California. And I can't all of a sudden now be like, oh, just because labor's high, you're fired, you go home. Sorry, it didn't work out. Better luck next time. You know what I mean? I said, let's keep moving. Let's come up with a plan to get labor to 24% in about 2 or 3 months from now. So let's kind of ramp down, let's come in for a little bit of a smooth landing. And then thankfully, though, we were able to get a cleaning crew in so that the team didn't have to stay past a certain amount of time, give us some fixed costs so we didn't have to worry about all these variables. And then when COVID hit, it was almost like a blessing in disguise, because it allowed us to streamline our business a little bit more. But just to talk about people over profit, that's why I wanted to share that with you.
Dope. Yeah, dope. Thanks for sharing that.
A lot of the guests that come on to the Black Business Showcase, especially during the pandemic time, they said that the pandemic actually helped their business. And it sounds, we're surprised to hear that. But at least 99% of the people that have, come on the podcast said that the pandemic actually helped their business because it helped
crazy,
them.
right?
It's right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You got to take advantage of the opportunity, in the lifetime of the opportunity, as often is said, and it's our choice to look at things as is this happening for us or to us, and that perspective is what will make us either feel optimistic or pessimistic about it, or see the opportunity or feel like a victim because of what's going on. And it's easy to do that. It's like, oh my gosh, why is this happening? But that mindset doesn't allow you to create solutions. It just allows you to kind of be sad and disappointed and frustrated and angry and looking for people to blame or situations to blame. And so but I would say it doesn't come without some kind of a cost, right? Like there's it could still take a toll mentally and all of those things. And that's something that, again, that I had to learn how to work through as well.
Right. So you said dad was in the military.
Yeah.
You ended up being in the Air Force.
Air Force. Mm-hmm.
Air Force. So was you just following in dad's footsteps, or was it straight out of high school, or did you go out and bump your head a couple of times and then reroute? How was that decision?
Yeah, no, I did ROTC in high school for a couple of years, but when I got to college, I really didn't want to follow my dad's footsteps. Sorry, Dad, but I just wanted to carve my own lane. I'm already named after him, so he's Stephen Craig Stokes. I'm Stephen Craig Stokes II. He goes by Steve. I go by Craig. So I just really just wanted to carve my own lane. But when I got to college, I was like, man, the last thing I want them to do is be like, man, you went to college and wasted our money. So I said, let me figure out how I can pay for college. So I went ahead and joined ROTC, got an ROTC scholarship while I was in college. And because I stuck with it, I got my commission and became an officer right when I graduated. And so then I went into the Air Force from there.
Okay.
So during college, not high school. Interesting.
Yeah. So by going into college, then I had the option, hey, well, you have a scholarship, so you can either go 4 years active duty and then do 4 years reserves, or you can do all 8 years reserves. So I did all 8 years reserves, which allowed me to go straight to grad school, allowed me to get married right away, allowed me to do what it sounds like how is he able to do all these things at one time? It's like I was able to do Air Force while I did small business, while I also was in entertainment.
All right. Okay. Yeah. That's what we've been going next, to the entertainment side of things. So, you had a show called Style Minute.
Yep.
What was the concept of that?
So Style Minute. So when I was, so I had an engineering degree and then an MBA, but I really wanted to be on TV, right? I had done a feature film, like an independent film while I was in college. And so I got that bug and I was like, man, I want to do something, but I mean, who's going to think of me as somebody that could host the show if I've never done it, right? So I said, let me think of something that I could talk about. Like I dressed really well in college, I felt like. And so I said, okay, that's a topic I could talk about. And I think people would believe me, right? They would be like, oh, that makes sense. He's doing a style show. And so I found a guy that was really nice behind the cameras. He was a student in college as well, had lights, he had the camera, he had the editing software. I said, all right, cool. We're going to link up together. Here's my concept. I'm basically going to teach about men's fashion, men's style. I'm going to talk about what to wear, what not to wear, how to tie a tie. If you have a black tie event, what does that look like? Can you wear this color with that color? Blah, 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 blah. And so my goal was to do 100 episodes. And what we would do is once a week, he would come over to my house, set up everything. I would record 5 episodes back to back to back. Like, hey, what's up? Welcome back to Style Minute. I'm your host, Craig Stokes. And then I'd switch it up. Hey, it's Craig Stokes. Welcome back to another episode of Style Minute. Blah, 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 blah. I do it 5 different ways, 5 different outfits, 5 different topics. And then the next week, I would release one on Monday, one episode on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then everybody's like, yo, Craig, what's going on? Like, I see this show. Are you in New York? Are you in LA? I'm like, no, I'm in my living room in Greensboro, North Carolina. But it garnered that kind of attention, so much so that I was able to then pitch a local news affiliate, allow me to come on and be their live men's fashion correspondent and entertainment correspondent. That's how I got on the Empower Me tour, because they needed somebody talking about branding and fashion. And then I was able to start pitching shows to networks like BET about having a show on their network as well.
Man, how did you even know how to navigate through that? Did you have any mentors that were in the business and told you, look, this is what you're going to need. This is going to make people take you seriously? Or you just...
Yeah, it's weird. That's a really good question. I don't think anybody's asked it, or I've really even thought about it. I just knew I was creative. I took a TV broadcasting class when I was in 9th grade in high school. So I really started learning how to edit videos and shoot videos. And my high school would let me go to the community college and edit. And I was able to get out of school to be able to do that kind of stuff. Like, I was known as somebody that could do that. And then this guy that I met, his name is John Holland. He and I were working with a entertainment company while we were in college. I was doing the marketing, and I came up with an idea to promote parties with videos. Like, let's do a commercial for this event. Let's come up with something that's really, really dope, and that people will want to come to this event because of this small little, commercial. And then I said, okay, he's the right guy for this idea. I know I want to be on TV. Let's just try it. I think that's just my whole thing, is just try it. Just put something together. Just get started. Just figure it out. And I mean, it was the best it could be at the time. And I really just, if anything, I probably did is reverse engineered what I saw. And I said, okay, I can't do everything that I see on TV, but I could probably do that part. I could probably have this type of background, this type of set. I could probably create this unique camera angle, or we just really just experimented and tried it.
Yeah, I checked it out, man. I saw some creative stuff as far as camera work. Like, I think you were in like a, I don't know, like a Macy's or some type of men's warehouse or something.
Yeah.
The camera was like panning out, and to everything that you were talking about would pop up on the screen. Like, I was looking at all the little stuff. I'm like, okay.
That's 08, 09. So the thing is, but here, what's so crazy is I wasn't trying to be a YouTube star. I just wanted to do enough. I wanted to create a resume so that if somebody saw it, they could say, oh, yeah, I can see you as a host. Yeah, come on, But had I stayed on YouTube doing the show, by now, just because of what YouTube became, it would have been, I mean, I don't even know where it would be, honestly. But I'd never, so there's something to be said.
And you had a great niche too, with that men's style and all that. That was a great niche.
I wasn't a dad at the time, so now I could be talking about dad. What's our style and fashion for dads? And I used to think 40 was so old. Now I'm like, nah, we still cool.
Right.
So let's what do we wear? What can we how do we maneuver? What's appropriate for our age group? Had I stuck with it, and who knows, I may come out with it later. But you talked about before, did I know what I was doing at that time? I knew I was short-sighted. I didn't have the full picture. I just said, I just want to do this one thing, and then it's going to get me to TV, not knowing that digital and all the other stuff would be what it is today.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Well, let Nicey jump in here, man.
I mean, outside of your mother and father, we know that they inspired you. They gave you the entrepreneurial spirit that you have today. But who else inspired you over the years?
I would say from an entrepreneur standpoint, I have a friend of mine now. His name is Nicholas Perkins. I went to high school with him. He actually had just purchased Fuddruckers. He's if you look him up.
I just reached out to him. To try to get him on the show.
Since high school. Yeah, we went to high school together. And so we worked together, and so people like that, like a super visionary guy, really doing things at a big level, high level. Terrence J and I went to college together. They used to be on 106 in Park. And so he and I have known each other, I guess now 20 years as well. And I was always looking up to him and how he hosted and how he, managed and handled the crowds and things like that. We worked together at Dillard's in the mall, and then he put me onto the radio station on college. We used to host a couple things together. So it's kind of like it's cool just to watch my peers. I think more than anything, like, what are they doing? How are they maneuvering? How did they go from what I remembered them to be to now, doing what they're doing at the highest levels? That kind of stuff is really inspirational to me.
Yeah. I just sent that guy an email
to Nick.
See if we can get him on. Yeah.
I used to call him Shaq in high school. What up, Shaq? Because he had that build, and he had the Shaquille O'Neal. That's his guy. That's his main guy. So,
okay. My bad. Go ahead, Nicey.
No, I was saying, are there any books that you've read that have inspired your entrepreneur?
I would say there are books that got me to read more books. I would say that led me to open up my mind about how things, how the world works and whatever. I would say Rich Dad, Poor Dad was a book that I read. So when I was a kid, my dad used to make us read all the time. Like, go read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and then write a report on it. And I'm like, man, what is this book? Even though some things resonated with me, I was still a kid. I was literally a kid going to summer camps, and I had to, my brother and I would have to step away and go read this book, while everybody else is playing basketball, but he really, so I had to read then. I took a break from reading, and then Rich Dad, Poor Dad was such an easy read. It was the book that I chose to read. It was the book that kind of got me back into it. And then from there, it would be like Malcolm Gladwell books. So, David and Goliath, Blink, Tipping Point. Tipping Point is really, really cool. I did a lot of audio books. Trying to think of, I've actually read so many right now, but I would say books that are really important to me now are like The One Thing. The One Thing, it really talks about what's that one thing that you can do today that if you do it, it'll make something else not even necessary, or it make it that much easier. Right. So there's a lot of the things we can do, but what's the one thing that's going to have the greatest impact on the next things? So The One Thing is really, really cool. I like that. I think that's an easy read.
Write that down.
Me too.
Yeah. I got a ton of them. I'm just trying to go back. So just give me a second. So I would say The One Thing is really, really good. Of course, Rich Dad, Poor Dad from a financial standpoint. I would say that I'm trying to think of another one that I'm actually looking to see. Yeah, like where my bookshelf. But man, what's another book that's like really just like, oh man, this is like a game changer. Check out Rework. So Rework is really easy. Each chapter is about like 2 pages. It talks a lot about rethinking how you approach what it has just been commonplace to do. Oh, let's have an hour-long meeting. Well, if you don't really need to have that meeting, do you need to have it at all? Like if it doesn't need to be an hour just because you scheduled it for an hour. It could be 15 minutes, right? So just kind of breaking out of the framework of maybe how people have done things before. But YouTube really is really big for me. Is just being able to get the answers to quick questions. How do I start this? How do I do this? How do I do that? Podcast interviews are really great. So from a podcast standpoint, I like the School of Greatness. I like Ask Pat. I like listening to stories on Jamel Hill is Unbothered. There's some cool things that are out right now. But from a book standpoint, I think foundationally, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The One Thing is really big. The other thing too is Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits is about how habits are formed and how you can develop better habits. And so that's also big. And so we can start with that.
Thank you. I'm asking from I have a son that's 17. He currently works in fast food. He's
Okay.
still a student. And so when he interviewed with the fast food chain that he's with, what got him hired was they asked him, why does he want to work here? He said, well, I want to work here so I can learn the business, but I want to own it.
I love it.
And
I love
so
that.
he told me, he was like, Mom, I don't know where it came from. It just came out, He's like, I remember, driving by and wanting it, you know what I mean? But when she asked me that question, it was just like, well, I know I don't see myself here at the drive-thru forever. So if anything, I'm going to own it. And so when they called him out, offered him the job, they said that's what stuck out to them the most. Right. That they ever had, a teenager, 16-year-old say that.
Yeah, no, I think that's really great. He, that kind of comment, especially from his age, someone his age, says he doesn't necessarily know what that means. He doesn't know how he's going to get there, but there's some sort of passion that's there, because you can't teach somebody to have passion. You can't teach them to want anything. You can teach them how to do something. You might even teach them why you're supposed to do it, but teaching them to want it is that's not going to happen. Another couple books that I would say too is really helpful. When I was in the Air Force, I started like a book club. I'm just kind of going back and thinking through things. I knew my team didn't really like to read, and I said, well, I need to give them a book that's going to be foundational, but also be easy for them to read. There's a book by John C. Maxwell called the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And it talks a lot about having a personal and a professional development plan. Like where are you headed towards? Like where are you going? You might not know how to get there. And I often say, because I was born in Florida, I'll say, I know I want to go to Florida. I'm in California right now. I want to go to Florida. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know what vehicle. I don't know which route I'm going to take, but I have to at least know what direction I'm headed in, or else I'll just end up anywhere, right? Along the way, I might pick up a few people who say, Craig, I love your vision about Florida. I want to ride with you. By the time we get to Texas, they might say, hey, this ain't for me. Let me off, right? Or more people want to get on and this car ain't going to work. We're going to have to get a 16-passenger van. Oh, you know what? We figured out it's actually going to be faster if we can fly. You know what I'm saying? In order to fly, it's going to cost more money. So let's figure out how we can get the money so we can get to our destination much faster. But the destination never changes. The journey changes. You might have a flat tire. You might, take a few detours, as I say. May take a lot longer to get there, but having a clear idea of where you want to go is half the battle. And so that book kind of talks about that.
Oh, okay.
I have a question. You said you can't teach passion.
Yeah.
You could teach somebody how to do something, but you can't teach them to want it.
Right.
That's profound. Can you inspire them to be? Can you inspire passion?
You can inspire them to dream. You can inspire them to realize that what they're doing isn't all they have to do. But I still don't believe you can teach anybody to want it, because you can see, like, man, that what they're doing over there does look really good. Man, that would be nice. I just don't want to put in the effort. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's that part that I just can't give you. I just can't teach you that. I can't teach you to smile. I can let you know that you're not smiling when the guest comes in and you say, my pleasure. They're like, is it really your pleasure? You know what I mean? Like, I can teach you that it's important. Like, in other words, I can teach you what to say when somebody says, thank you, my pleasure. But I can't teach you that you need to really care. I can show you that the guest doesn't believe you. I can show you that you're probably not doing exactly what we're expecting of you, but I can't make you actually care. I can't actually make you want to do it. I can't make you have that passion, which is just, it's kind of frustrating, because it's like, you know what I mean? I wish I could just give you that, like that,
yes.
but I just can't.
Yes.
That saying, I can lead the horse. You can lead the horse to water, but you can't force him to drink.
I could put your head down. I could, like, put the water like right there. I can't make you want it. I just can't. Or if I was able to successfully get some water in your mouth, you might resent me because I didn't want it. You wanted it. You wanted me to want this. You wanted this for me, right? I just didn't want it. There's something else I might want, but this wasn't it. And as a leader, we have to know, hey, this just isn't. You're not a bad person. It's just not a good fit here, because I need people to want to do. So I need you to want to serve. I need you to care. I need you to naturally see people and figure out how you can make a difference. If it's not you, then it's okay. There's something else that you're supposed to do. Like I said in the beginning, go find that thing, because that thing will spark some passion, and you'll have a natural desire to do it.
I appreciate that.
Right.
So Chick-fil-A, what attracted you to that particular franchise, and how hard was it to get you one?
Very difficult. Very difficult. I hear the odds are easier to get into the CIA and Harvard than it is to get into Chick-fil-A. Yeah, it's like the acceptance rate is like 0.15%. So like the year I applied, I want to say 70 or 80,000 people applied, and they accepted about 100, maybe 120 people out of that. And so very difficult. But to back it up, I grew up in the South. I grew up in North Carolina, so I grew up around Chick-fil-A's. But when I was a kid, everybody wanted to be like Calvin on McDonald's with his hat to the back, when he walks through the streets. And then you remember Calvin, the commercial of McDonald's? He was walking through the streets like, I ain't seen Calvin in a minute. Where's Calvin at? What's he been up to? And then da-da-da-da-da. All of a sudden, he turns his hat around and, wow, welcome to McDonald's. McDonald's was the cool spot. That's where people wanted to work. I just took Chick-fil-A for granted, honestly, growing up. It was cool. I was like, man, there's something special. Like they're nicer there. I knew that. But I would just go get my waffle fry, my half cookies and cream, half strawberry milkshake, and I keep it moving, maybe in some chicken minis for breakfast and stuff like that. But around 2012, Nick and I were working together, and we were actually at one of his college accounts, and he was having a meeting. We were having a meeting with Chick-fil-A about putting a Chick-fil-A on one of his college accounts. And I said, college campuses. And I said, to myself, I didn't even know Chick-fil-A did this. That kind of planted the seed for me. And then 2017, I was on assignment in Italy for the Air Force just for a short amount of time. And I was like, man, what do I want to do? Like, how can I combine everything I've done and, have that income, but impact, take care of the family, take care of the team, take care of my community. And I revisited the Chick-fil-A opportunity, put in my application from that hotel room in Italy, and That's where I hit send on that application. And I remember when I got back to the States, I went into a Chick-fil-A and I saw that the operator, the franchisee, was actually behind the counter. So I walked over to him. I said, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Craig." I didn't tell him I was already in the process. I just said, "Hey, I'm kind of interested in becoming an operator." He says, "Okay, I'll talk to you for a quick second." He says, "Do you drive a car?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." He says, "Okay, well, what you're asking Chick-fil-A to do is to hand you the car hand you the keys to NASCAR, and not everybody can drive NASCAR, right? Like, so you're basically saying, day one, can I have keys to a multi-million-dollar business? And while you may be good, are you great? Have you done this? Have you done that?" And so in some ways it was the reality check, but then it was also like, he doesn't know me, so he doesn't really believe me. And he probably gets this question all the time. And it's kind of like, he's just trying to give me a sobering reality that it just may not work out. And so I said, well, I am the guy that takes the road less traveled. I'm the guy that would typically zig when everybody else zags. I just try to find my lane. I did that with my clothing line called My Vote Counts. Everybody was trying to talk about Barack Obama and John McCain. And I said, let me find my own lane in the middle. And so I just figured out, and I could tell you a story about where that kind of came from. But as far as Chick-fil-A was concerned, I said, this is a difficult thing to get. I'm more intrigued by that because not everybody is going to be able to do it. So I'll just at least throw my name in the hat. I can't win the game if I don't shoot a shot, right? I can't do it. So I put in my application in Italy, and then the first step was to get a pre-recorded interview question. So basically, I'm sitting in front of my webcam, and they give you a pre-recorded question, the name of time when blah blah blah. I don't even remember the questions, and then all of a sudden your webcam will come on, and it starts recording you for 2 minutes. You don't know what the question is going to be. You can't pause it. You have to start answering the question right away, and then that goes off. They ask you another question, and they do that 4 times, and then from there, if you make it past that kind of like screening interview, you do a 1-hour virtual live interview. And then from there, I did an in-person interview in Atlanta for 3 hours. And then from there, it was like I had to do a hands-on experiential interview in the restaurant, blah, 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 for 18 months. And eventually, so started June of 2017 and January 2019 in Atlanta, I got told, congratulations, you're going to be the new owner of Chick-fil-A, Topanga, and Roscoe. So an 18-month process to have what I have now.
Congratulations.
Congratulations on that. That's very rigorous. I was like thinking like all you have to do is say, I put it, I want to put it here.
I got the money.
I have the down payment or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So I thought it was, like that.
Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah.
So a couple things. People think that, and I think that's just a common assumption, and I think it's a fair assumption, because if this is what it costs, I'm here. I got it. Let's go. I had somebody in the drive-thru. I was working in the drive-thru, and they said, "Hey, man, I heard it only costs $10,000 to get a Chick-fil-A." I said, "Yeah, but it's just really hard to get one, right?" This guy unzips a duffel bag in his car. He said, "Like, look, $100,000 cash."
No.
And he said, I want 10 of these. I'm like, okay, there's a lot that comes with owning the business. The selection process is hard. The $10,000 part is really the easiest part, because just managing the people, running the business, making a difference, being one person that gets pulled in a lot of different directions, and developing your leadership team, blah, blah, blah. All of those things are really, really the challenge. But the main question that they ask, which is why I wanted people to just say, to go back to what I said earlier, is be who you are, be authentic, live your life, pursue things, try new things, experiment, fail, get back up, do it again and again, because there's going to be a time when somebody like Chick-fil-A, which is what they asked the entire time, tell me your story. Tell me the story. Tell me your story. Mm-hmm. All right, so I went to A&T and I no, tell me your story. Got it. I was born in Tallahassee, Florida. Parents, went to college there. Around age 5, they got a divorce. Right? I moved to North Carolina, raised by my mom and my dad, my mom and my little brother. blah, 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 blah. Age 13, started the business. I was a Power Ranger. Oh, tell me more about that. Da, 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 da. Age 20, my best friend got killed while I'm in college. I create an organization that gave a scholarship, a bookstore scholarship back to him. I organized the first ever campus-wide cleanup. I created a lunch buddies program. You see what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
all these things that we just take for granted. Like how many of us have experienced death? How many of us have maybe dealt with divorce or, issues in the family that you had to overcome? What they're looking for and what you should be looking for and what we should stop and pat ourselves on the back for is that there's been things that we've been dealt, cards that we've been dealt, adversity that we faced, and we have overcome it. We have gone through the fire. We have come out refined. We've come out better than we were when we came through it. And that then becomes something that you can tell somebody, that you can articulate in such a way where they say, you know what, Craig? And this is what they told me. If you think we're giving you this restaurant because you know what you're doing, you're wrong. We know you don't know what you're doing. But based on what you told us, we believe you can figure it out.
Mm.
All right.
And to me, if I can be extended that type of grace for something like this that I haven't done before, then I believe any of us listening, either of you all could do whatever it is that you put your mindset to, because we've been through enough that has created a foundation and that shaped us to be who we are today. And it's going to inform what we can accomplish tomorrow. I really just truly believe that now.
Thank you. So outside of that selection process, the 18 months, the $10,000, investment, what are other, qualifying factors outside of that? Is there, or is that it once you, satisfy those 18 months, once you go through the Atlanta or, Georgia thing, what else is there that people would need to look forward to, such as a question, I'm all the way off. I'm looking at two different things that I wrote down. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Can wealth be built with a franchise?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think it depends on what you define as wealth. But I would say that, yeah, you can absolutely do really well. And I would define it by wealth of experience and wealth of like what you put in your pocket, right?
Mm-hmm.
The experience part of it is such that, one, I mean, you have a brand that's behind you, a brand that you can attach now to your name, in such a way where it's like, oh, if you owned a Chick-fil-A and you grew sales from 4 point this million to 5 to 6 million to $10 million, if you did it before, you could do it again. That means my value goes up, my worth goes up, just in general. My confidence level, my wealth and my confidence goes up because I know I didn't have that many employees ever in my life. And now all of a sudden I have 100 employees. I know what that's like to interview, to hire, to have to hold accountable, to celebrate, to praise, to have to fire, unfortunately, right? How to protect my business from lawsuits, stuff that I didn't ever have to worry about before. I'm paying over $1 million in wages every year, $1 million in food every year. And I'm learning how to manage that. And so my wealth of experience and knowledge is really invaluable. I mean, I could be a consultant. I could write a book. I could be asked to speak. I could, there's a lot of ways where there's wealth inside the building, but also just kind of outside. I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And you should write a book.
But the other part, yeah, right.
You should write a book. You have to.
Got to do it.
But one other part about her question, though, is it something that you were able to pass down?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not with Chick-fil-A. Yeah, so there's a low barrier to entry on the cost. It's hard to get because of all the questions and the interview, and I guess you just have to have a story that they resonate with, that they think will transfer into the restaurant. But a place like McDonald's maybe, or other places where you have to pay a lot more money into it, you can then have the equity and then you can leave it for your kids. So what I'm able to pass down is, my daughter is 12 years old. Our daughter is 12, so she can come in the restaurant, wipe down some tables. She can serve as marketing and help us be in some ads for us. She can help. She helped actually
officially as an employee, right?
Yeah, as an employee. Now I don't have her in the kitchen or have her anywhere that's dangerous, but I'm teaching her that, yeah, you get a free meal when you come here because we own the location, right? You get all the nuggets and strips and fries that you want, but it comes with a cost. Right? I need you to go over there to this table, ask the guest how their meal is. right? Is there anything else that we can get for them? Clear their tray if they're finished eating. Thank them for being there. Grab a broom, sweep up the floor, wipe down the tables, take some food out to a car that's waiting for a curbside order. When we had our grand opening, we actually have video of her. She would have been 9, and she was helping to train the new hires. So what color broom do we use if we're cleaning up the restrooms? Right, red. That's great. Great job. Like blah, blah, blah. That was her thing. And so my point is, I'm able to pass that down, that experience. Right. So there's a lot more intangibles than just here's the business, because she may not even want to do that, but unfortunately I can't do it even if she wanted to.
So the last question about that, once you're in, are you able to own multiple Chick-fil-A's, or you got to go through another process?
You do have to go through another process, and you are able to own more. So a friend of mine in Hollywood owns 3 locations. He has a drive-through only location. He has what we call a freestanding restaurant, so with the drive-through indoor, and then a delivery only location. So you as a guest don't go to that location, but if you on your app say, man, I'm really hungry today, I want some Chick-fil-A, it can be delivered to you from that location. So the process though is I have to run I get the first restaurant based on my life story, right, and my past experiences. I get the second restaurant opportunities based on how well I run my first one. Is my food safety scores where they need to be? Is the quality of my food at the level it needs to be? Is my store clean? Do I have the ability to step away from the business and let the business run without me? If not, if I have to be at the store in order to make the business work, how can I have a second restaurant? Because I can't be there. Right. So what does my leadership capacity look like? And so you have options to relocate, like leave your current store and go to a completely new store, like just move maybe to another state or to another part of the city. Or you can put your name in the hat for what they call multi-restaurant. So being able to have more than one location. But you do need to be in the business for a few years in order to do that.
Cool. So when I told my daughter who I was going to be talking to today, and I told her how many employees you had, she was like, 80 some employees at a Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, we don't do that.
Other than the people that we see in the restaurant, what other type of people do you have to hire, to make everything run like a well-oiled machine?
Yeah, good question. So, you don't ever have 80 people at one time in the building, right? So you have people that might open the store, somebody that has a 11 to 3 p.m. shift, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. shift. They come and go really quickly. Somebody that might work 2 to 10, or somebody that comes at 5 to 9. You just piece your day together like that. But in order to really make it run successfully, you need you need role clarity. You need people to know exactly what they're doing. I had a call with my team leaders. My wife and I had a call with our team leaders earlier today before this call. And so just like, hey, here's what you're going to be doing. Here's what your new role is going to be. Here's what I expect of you during Q1. Here's how you'll know you're going to be successful. But I have a director of administration who handles all of the onboarding and all the HR paperwork and accountability stuff. We have a front of house or a hospitality director who handles everything from the drive-through through our third-party delivery, catering, all of those things. We have our kitchen directors who order the inventory, who make sure that our food safety is what it needs to be. We have a guy that handles utilities, so he's making sure things are clean and scrubbed and well maintained. And we also have a lady that's over our training and development, making sure that when we get a new hire, we put them on the training schedule. We make sure that they know, what's going to be expected of them, and that our trainers are prepared to give them the best experience. So we're probably going to bring on somebody for marketing and catering as well, just kind of focus on and growing that side of the business. And at the level we're at now, so just, kind of like under 7 million, we don't need a whole lot of we don't want to be top heavy. And I have an inverted pyramid structure. So our pyramid is upside down. So you actually move down as you get promoted. You don't move up. So the idea is that you support the people above you. Essentially, you're adding more weight to your shoulders. You're saying, I can handle this. Give me more. I could do it. Because if you move up, the potential is that I'm up here now. You go do that. You go do that down there. You know what I'm saying? I'm a leader now. I don't take out trash anymore. When in reality, as you move down, you were a team member. Now you're a trainer and a team member, and you support those above you. Now that you're a trainer, you want to move to be a team leader. Don't ever forget you're still a trainer, you're still a team member, and you're supporting everybody above you. And then as you move down, you're associate director who was also a team leader and a trainer and a team member, and then a director, and then me, little old me at the very bottom of the triangle. I'm talking about vision, I'm talking about culture, and I'm talking about systems. And I make sure that I give everybody above me what they need to ultimately give our guest a better day.
And I'm sure you'll come in and take out the trash if need be.
Oh, 100%. What? Yes. Yeah. I mean, because the thing is, that's all part of me giving that experience. I really don't mind doing it. The only reason I mind doing it is because I say, well, if I wasn't here, would this get done?
Right. If someone's neglected.
It's not because I'm doing it. It's not like, I just got a manicure and I can't believe I'm doing this right now. I can't, it's not that at all. It's just more like, if I'm doing this and you're standing around, what I would ask you to do is come help me, not let me hand it off to you. It's more like, come on, let's knock this out together. And so a lot of times I'll do that as a coaching. I'll say, I need somebody to tag team the dining room with me. And I'll be like, you take that half, I'm gonna take this half, and I bet you can't beat me. Right. And as I do it, what I'm talking about is, one, you could have done it without me. You've stepped away. That means you could have stepped away before I got here. 2, it doesn't take that long. 3, I'm also doing it with you. So you can never say that Craig asked us to do something he's not willing to do himself. Right. And then the 4th thing is, if there's no one in the dining room, I'll say, how you doing today? Like, how's your family? You doing good? Like, last time we talked, you had this big test coming up. How'd you do on that test? So I've done 4 things, all by asking them to tag team the dining room with me. Found out how they were doing, set the tone, set the example, demonstrated that it doesn't have to take a long time, and have a little friendly competition. So it's that's been my leadership approach.
I like that, because what my son is, that's kind of when he comes home and tells his stories, he's been told, when the dining area, drive through, everything is super busy, and he's in a super busy location where he is.
Okay.
And pull him from, say, drive through, or pull him over here and there, when it's something they can easily do. And why are you pulling me? Because I got this going on. And they'll say, well, I already did that. I used to be a crew member, so I don't have to do
Oh,
that.
wow. Yeah, no.
He's been told that verbatim, that they don't have to do that. And he says he doesn't subscribe to that. Yeah. Because just because you did it before, if we're super busy, it's your job to also assist, and help us, where we need the help at. So I'm glad to hear this, and he's going to be happy to hear this, because he's the type of person, he'll learn something and he'll go take it there. Like, well, no, this is not how. In order for you to build me up to the next level, then you need to assist me. Right.
And you just have to be careful that people don't get lazy because you step in and help. Like, they got it. When Craig gets here, he'll do it. Because I'm like, but no, 100%. I when I worked at KFC back at age 16, I remember doing some of those same things. It was just natural. It's just organic. And I love people. I love people too much to know that I had the ability to make their experience better, and I just don't do it. There's going to be plenty of times I'm going to make a mistake. I mean, because I'm human. It just is what it is. I'm sure if somebody says something crazy to me, I'm going to take a second to be like, okay, don't react. Right. There's just things that are going to maybe snap me out of that mentality. But my 99% approach to anything is, everyone has a story. Let me serve them. You didn't have to come to this location. You chose to. I don't know if this is your last dollar or if you're a millionaire and you chose to come here. I'm going to give you a great experience. And I don't expect anything less than that from anybody else. Like, that's one thing I just don't play with, because it's not okay to think just because we have 1,300 transactions a day that you can just take one off, or that you could just disregard so-and-so. Like, no, that's just not okay. This is not. And so there's a lot of things that not that I'll let slide, but I give a lot of grace to, but how we treat people, nah.
Now at Chick-fil-A, obviously this is a huge, franchise corporation, etc. Do you know how many of these owners countrywide are foundational Black American owned?
I don't know. I want to say probably 10% though, maybe 10 to 15%, maybe out of 2,700 locations. That might be a lot, but let's call it 10 to 15%.
Is that low or high? That sounds low to me.
No, I think it's low.
Sounds like a high guess to me.
Yeah, it's a high.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, is that considered? I'm like, that sounds very low, for Foundation of Black American ownership in, franchising.
Right. No, I agree. I think we're making a lot of strides towards it, and I don't think it should ever be anything where it's like, because you're black, we gotta get more blacks in here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the same time, I think that, again, just people seeing themselves in roles like this where, oh shoot, that's possible. I didn't even know. Oh, this black owned. You know how many black? You know how many people are like, oh, this is black owned. I'm coming here. I'm coming to support
Right.
you. They're
Exactly.
Like without question, they come inside, give us hugs, especially during 2020 and 2021. It was, we know what was going on in 2020. I don't mean COVID. I mean, from George Floyd to Breonna Taylor to everything in between. It seemed like every week there was something going on. And I remember a guy coming up there to get some food, and I was like, yo, we didn't even speak. It's like just normal conversation, just real quick, not even about that. I said, give me a hug, man. And in that, he knew what I meant. We need each other.
Mhm.
I need you. You need me. I'm here for you. And I mean, like, man to man, just like the biggest hug. Yes.
It's the unspoken that we
Unspoken.
have.
It was almost like a,
Right.
it was just like, yo, give me a hug, man. Like, and it was, man, it's like, it wasn't like the bro, like, all right, man, let me give you a little side. No, it was a full embrace just for a second. It was like, all right, I'm here if you need me. And it was like the, words without words being spoken. And it's just people seeing themselves in us is really, really key. So
yes, that's why I felt like this was important to have you on and have this conversation as well, man. And so you mentioned all throughout this interview, if you want to call it an interview, I feel like we're just chopping it up. But you mentioned all throughout this about being a dad, about being a husband, family, you know what I'm saying? And even when I was creating the flyer to promote this, I chose the picture of you and your family to put on the flyer because I feel like, that's just important representation for people to be able to see, a healthy black family, a black man with a black woman with some black children. You know what I'm saying? That's just not something that is promoted in a healthy way from the mainstream media. And also, we know family is business. You know what I'm saying? So talk about London and Camden and Dree and how instrumental they are to the overall success.
Oh no, without a doubt, especially Dree. I mean, she's been with me through many businesses, and we met in college. Junior year in college, she was 19, I was 20, and walked in. I was like, "Okay, girl, I see you." You know what I'm saying? That's the one. Anybody sitting here? Let me sit down beside you. So she would be cracking up right now if she heard me say that. Yeah, but I mean, it was true, and for we just celebrated 17 years, got married at 24. I was 24, she was 22. And we actually went back to the same classroom at A&T where we met. Like the exact seats are still there. So it's kind of cool. But she's just been somebody that 100% has my back. And whatever you need, I got you. I'll play whatever role you need. And it was really important for me to make her understand that my name is on the building. My name is on the door. But you and I both are owner operators. This is our business. Like, you're not behind me. I'm not in front. We're side by side as partners in this. And I don't need nobody to treat you anything less than how they would treat me. And so from day one, I made sure that she understood that, and they see her that way. You know what I mean? And so she played every role that I played. And in London and Cam, I think they just provide the this is why I do it type of perspective, and understanding that this is also a part of their story. This is also part of their experience. And London and I, we used to have so many daddy-daughter dates. And when we had to open the business, we were working sun up to sundown. She actually hated Chick-fil-A. She resented how much time was being poured into Chick-fil-A because we weren't having those dates anymore. And so she reminds me of what's important. She reminds me never to neglect that, because it's something that I would never forgive myself for if I put all my energies into a place instead of a person, because it's never about the profit. It's always the people. And so making sure that applies to my kids and my wife just as much as it does to everybody else.
Is that part of the reason why you started to bring her to work with you, so that she can help out, so she knows that she's also a part of that, not just I'll see you when I get home or when it's time to go to bed, but I'm going to incorporate you into this too, so it's about us.
You hit it right on the head. That's exactly right. It's how can we diversify our experiences? If work has to be what it is, how can you be a part of that? How can you learn and grow, but also see each other? How can we, you know, what I mean, how can we see each other? And so, yeah, those moments are really important. And then I'm also really involved with her when I take her to school. Or she's like, Dad, I want you to meet my friends. Oh no, I don't hit her with, oh, I'm too busy, I can't do it. I'll actually get out of my car, dap up her friends, you know what I'm saying? Like, how y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all being good to my daughter, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hey, your shoes are whack, man. They're like, oh, you got you, man. Whatever.
Cool dad.
Yeah, the cool dad. Yeah, exactly. So, not to hurt nobody's feelings, but just fun stuff where it's like, maybe we're not having as many of the dates, right? But I'm still very much involved in your life. I'm not overly critical of anything. I'm giving her some freedoms as she continues to grow and become a teenager, and ultimately going to be driving soon and things like that. And so I'm just teaching responsibility, building our relationship, making that transition into being a friend, because that's something that's really important to me. And I know parents have differing opinions about whether you can be your kids' friends, but if I had the way I came up to this realization is, I asked somebody, I said, define what a friend is. And they said, well, somebody that holds you accountable, that you can be yourself around, that encourages you to be your best self. You can tell them anything, right? Without judgment. They're going to keep it real with you, but they're going to be there for you in every way. And I said, why can't a parent be that? Why can't they?
Actually.
So, yeah, that's just something. It's like, at some point, I'm gonna be your friend more than I'm gonna be your parent. I'm gonna always have the title of parent,
Right.
but I got to give you to the world. I got to give you to your man, right? I got to eventually allow you to be who you are, and I want to be in your life. I want you to be around me because you want to be around me, not be like, oh, I got to go see my dad. I have to go. No, I want us to be cool. I want us to have a relationship. And so, what I would say is the restaurant didn't take me away from being there for one of our really important moments, which was transitioning into womanhood. And I was here with her when she had that experience where she needed the pads, and she had to come downstairs and tell me what just happened, and I was able to really be there and for that moment, and then allow my wife to have a portion of that time too when she got home, so they could have their bonding moment. So my point is like it's really like helps me to go back to what's really key and what I can't afford to miss, and what I would never forgive myself if I traded the restaurant for my relationship with them.
Speaking of that, there's this video that was circulating on social media where the daughter started her cycle.
Yeah.
First time, and the mom called, was like, I need you to go to the school and drop her off some pads with wings.
I saw that.
So he goes and he takes the pads, but he also got a side of wings.
A side of wings. Yeah. I mean, come on, man. Like that's hilarious. She probably wanted those wings, lemon pepper, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, I did my best with the situation best as I could. First and foremost, to say it's beautiful. You're amazing. This is what's meant to happen. Go upstairs, grab some underwear. Let's try to experiment putting this stuff together for you. Go take a hot bath. I'm gonna get you some soup, and then I'm gonna let mom, have some time with you as well. And for her, hopefully, she looks back and says, "My dad was there. My dad was there." So, yeah.
Man, this is an incredible conversation, man. Again, man, we appreciate you coming on Sincere Love the Godcast, man.
My pleasure. Brother.
Anything that we didn't think to ask that you would like to share?
No, I think you really asked it all. And as you said, we just kicking it, man. We're just friends. We're all just, hanging out and talking about things that are really important. Again, if anything, I would just say to remind people that if you feel like, I just don't know what my purpose is, it sounds, oh, great, Craig figured his thing out and everybody else has got their thing. Just try things. Go take a class at a community college, like a continuing education design. Like I took a class on Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop and how to make websites. see if you like it. I don't know. Take a photography class. Go do a cooking class. Go volunteer. Just do things. Just go live life, and then something will speak to you. If you don't know what your purpose is, I believe something will speak to you. And then, of course, you have to figure out at what level you're going to perform at. You know, are you meant to be rocking the stages at the Grammys, or are you supposed to be at St. Jude Children's Hospital singing to kids who really just need that special love and attention? Like it could vary. And I think that as one person I do look up to, Marie Forleo, check her out online. She says the world needs that special thing that only you can do. And I think if we rob the world and we deny God the gifts He gave us, if we just sit on it and we do more consuming of other people's lives instead of creating and leaving something behind.
All right. And so before we get into our signature way that we close out the show, almost 3 years into the franchise now, right?
3 years on Monday. Tomorrow Monday is a 3-year anniversary. Yeah.
Happy anniversary. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Are you able, can the restaurant run without you at this point? Do you have to be there, or is everything good to go?
No, it can run without me. We have our cycles where people, leaders might have been with us for almost 3 years, and they decide to move on because they graduate college or whatever it might be. And so it does put me more in the restaurant at times, but yeah, for the most part, it can run without me. They'll call me and say, "Hey, Craig, so this is a situation that came up. What should I do? Or am I making the right choice or right decision?" And I can walk them through it on the phone. I actually don't have to be there.
Oh, that's nice. Awesome.
That's wealth right there. Wealth. You got your time.
The time, the most valuable thing, right?
All right, nice deal. If you ain't got nothing else, you could, do it how we do it.
All right. So 2 questions. What does freedom and power mean to you?
Freedom is definitely being able to use my time how I want. Freedom is being able to answer the question, "Hey, so what do you do?" I do whatever I want. When I can say that I haven't retired, I'm not even aiming towards retirement. I'm aiming towards making work optional. That's freedom. And power, I think power is just, I think it's strength and what I would consider like the 5 pillars of life. So being strong and having power financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, and being able to make sure that I'm tapped in and understand where I'm not so powerful and figuring out how to get strong again, or know who I need to call, what resource I need to tap into. But power is really having those things in place, because everything else evolves and stems from that.
Yes, sir. All right. So now this part right here, I got to put you on the Summer Jam screen, my brother.
Let's go.
And so now you got the microphone.
Okay.
The entire Black community is listening. What parting words would you like to leave us with tonight?
Wow. Summer Jam screen. Everybody's watching. Craig, what are you going to say? I would just say, be mindful of the top 2 things that people on their deathbed say that they wish they could have done differently. The first thing is they wish they could have lived a life. They wish that they had the courage to live a life that was true to who they really, really are. And 2, they wish they had spent more time with family. Think about those things. Don't be the person that has regrets, that they wish they would have tried this, wish they would have traveled more, wish they would have been who they were meant to be. Don't have that regret. And make sure you don't let grudges or any ill will or anything that has happened in the past with your family stop you from reconnecting, healing old wounds, doing the thing that's long overdue, because when you look back on it, it's going to be the very thing you wish you had more time to do.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that, brother.
More jewels from Craig.
Hey, seriously, I want to acknowledge you both. For one, you had an idea, obviously, and you figured out what platform you could do to bring that idea to life. You're coming here with great energy. You're using the gifts that God gave you, and you're making a difference. And so I just want to acknowledge you, because I'm only able to talk to you because of what you put out into the world. So you all should just be take a moment just to acknowledge and celebrate yourself, and whatever else is to come, whatever the future looks like. don't stress on that right now. Just be thankful that you know, and celebrate where you are right now, because y'all are amazing. Again, I had a great conversation, hadn't met you before, but I'm so thankful I chose to spend my time with you all today. So I just wanted to acknowledge you all for that.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
For sure.
My pleasure. My pleasure, y'all.
For sure. And thank everybody for watching. Everybody that's watching us live, whether you're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, we appreciate y'all tuning in today. This has been another great episode of the Black Business Showcase on Sincere Love the Godcast. And you guys know we do this series weekly. We normally do it on Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. That's where you can catch the Black Business Showcase. And usually at this time on Sundays, we cover current events and talk about other important issues that we feel are pertinent to what's going on in Black society. And so that's what we do on Sincere Love the Godcast. So if this is your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be reminded whenever we go live. And nicely, what other announcements do we got before we get out of here?
No other announcements. Look out for Wednesday. We do have the Black Business Showcase this week on Wednesday. Thursday, we have the Pick Me Godcast. So Bram Scanvatti and I will be back talking about relationships, Black love, all that good old stuff. So make sure you guys are tuned in. Make sure you're following myself, Nicey Girl with the number 1 on Instagram, without the number 1 on Twitter. And you can follow Sincere on all social media platforms. And Craig Stokes is at Craig Stokes on Instagram. Make sure you following him. See what he has coming out. Anything new, support. If you're ever at Chick-fil-A in the Valley, make sure you support his business there as well.
Yeah, what's the address again?
Absolutely. It's going to be 8300 Topanga Canyon Boulevard, and that's going to be in Canoga Park, California.
All right. Y'all already know. Support Black businesses, family.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
All right. And so with that being said, that does it for today's episode of Sincere Love the Godcast. Always remember, family, we are not the master teachers. We are only the master students and signal boosters for voices of the new Black media. Peace and
Peace.
Black love.
Most resilient, we poster children of prophecy fulfillment. We gotta be God's